Today I'm gonna show you how to take a normal photo, transform it into a gloomy one, and into a sunset photo. My name is Ali. You can find me on Instagram at Photoshop Hustler, and this channel is all about teaching you how to become better at Photoshop. We'll start today's edit by going to File, New. I like to stick to the 4:5 ratio because it suits Instagram the best, but I'll reduce the image size here in this case just so my file goes faster. You don't have to do this. Okay, and let's begin. I'm gonna drag the first photo, the main one. I'm gonna make it larger, something like that, but I don't want my photo to be centered. I want it to be in bottom third or top third, something like that, or like this. This is better. So I'm gonna make it even bigger, and I'm gonna leave it here in the bottom third. So now we have bottom third, we have ground, top third, we have sky. Okay, now I'm gonna take my quick selection tool, not the magic tool, the quick selection tool, and I'm just gonna hold Alt and make it bigger or smaller, and I'm just gonna try to select the sky with it, something like that. Make it smaller. Okay. I'm just trying to make selection of the sky, but it's jumping on the mountain because they are very close in value and color. Okay, so I'm just gonna bring my lasso tool and I'm gonna hold Alt and I'm gonna deselect this area because this one is overlapped by cloud. Then I'm gonna select this area. I need to have a better selection, something like that. Then I'm gonna select this area as well. You can go more accurate with it, but it doesn't matter because it's just a mountain skyline. Okay, so now we have a selection of the top part, leaving the mountain behind. Now I need to separate the bottom part into a different layer so I can put skies behind of it. But now I have a selection of the top part, not the bottom one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to select and go to inverse. Now I have a selection of the bottom one. I'm gonna press Ctrl J and I'm gonna close this layer. Now this is what I have. A nice clean selection of the bottom part. Now it's time to add the skies. Let's add the first one here. Let's make it bigger. And okay. Most people would put the sky behind, but I'm gonna put it in front just to show you one thing. Now I'm gonna press Ctrl click on the layer. So now I have a selection of it. Then I'm gonna add a layer mask. Now the clouds are only affecting the opposite of what I want. So I'm gonna press Ctrl and I to get the inverse. Okay, so now we have the sky behind the mountain. We have a problem with this fringing, but we were gonna fix it. I'm gonna take a brush. I'm gonna choose a cloud brush here I have. Make it smaller, something like that, even smaller. Something like that, and I'm just gonna get rid of this fringing. I make it smaller and bigger by holding Alt and right click, moving right and left. Okay, now this is the first part. We just fixed the fringing. Now we need to blend the sky a little bit with the mountain. So I'm gonna stick with the same brush, but this time I'm gonna go with a very low opacity, something like that. And I'm just gonna paint a little bit of the sky back in front of the mountain. This will blend them both together. Then I'm gonna press right click, move to any of my cloud brushes I have. I'm gonna link this brush back in the description below. You can download them and use them. If you after you download it, you go to that gear icon and you press load brushes. And then you select the location and your brushes will be loaded. Okay, now I'm using this one. I'm just gonna add some clouds on top here and there. So now some of my clouds are overlapping the mountain. Okay, Now we're done with the blending the sky with the foreground, but this is not completely done. I'm gonna do the curves, go to the curves adjustment layer, make sure it's linked below, pull this one up. This one will take the black parts, make it brighter, but if I make it like that, it's looking good actually, but it's very bright. I want to have like a dark environment. I want it to be a night shot, so I'm gonna stick with this one. Then I'm gonna add a curves adjustment, but this time I'm not gonna link it. I'm not gonna press the link button, so it affects everything below. So now I'm affecting everything I have below that. So now I'm darkening both together. Okay, one more thing I need to do is I'm gonna take this one. I'm gonna go to the hue saturation. I believe the sky is too colorful, so I'm just gonna reduce its saturation a little bit. And if you look here, this is too blue and this is not too blue. This is more of a gray. So I'm gonna stand on the main layer, which is this one. I'm gonna go to color balance. I'm gonna make sure it's linked below. Then I'm gonna add some blue to it. Okay, I'm standing on the wrong layer, sorry. I need to put this one here and hold Alt to link it. I need the blue to be on the sky, not on the lower part. Okay, something like that. Okay, but now we have a little bit of a different case. Okay, we made the values the same, we made the color the same, but here we have a water, and water reflects the sky on top of it. So I'm gonna hold all the layers related to the sky from here to here. Then I'm gonna press Ctrl J. Now I made a duplicate of the same. Now I'm gonna press Ctrl E. I merged everything into a layer, so now I have the whole sky on a layer. Now I'm gonna press Ctrl T for a free transform, right click, flip vertical, and I'm gonna move it on top of the water, something like that, so I can add the reflection of it. Press OK. Then I'm gonna lower the opacity just to see where I need to put it, somewhere here. I need to zoom in. Or actually, I'm just gonna put it like that. And do one thing. I'm gonna stand on this layer and using the selection again, I'm gonna select the water, something like that. Stand on the layer and add a layer mask. So now we have the top part here and the bottom. We made a reflection of the same sky. As you can see, this is the before, this is the after. We can try playing around by changing this one to overlay or to hard light maybe. Increasing the opacity or decreasing the opacity. I'm gonna stick with the normal. Reduce the opacity a little bit. And I'm gonna go to image adjustments, brightness contrast, and I'm just gonna lower the brightness a little bit because this is water, not all the light is reflected, some of it is lost. And I'm gonna stand on the layer mask. This is important. As you can see, we have here very hard edges because of the way we cut it. I'm gonna go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and I'm just gonna blur it. You see what happened? It blurred the edges a little bit. You see it's blurring the edge. Okay, so we don't have a sharp edge. Okay, I guess we're done with this one. The blending, everything looks nice. Let's now edit the whole thing. This is really important. When you add two photos together, you need to add on top of them two layers just to make sure everything goes on the same path together. Okay, I'm gonna add first a curves layer. Let's do something like that. I like to do this. It adds a lot of interest to the photo. And let's go with a photo filter. We can try a cooling filter maybe, something like that. Or maybe a cyan filter. Cyan is good. And I guess we're done for this photo. So I'm gonna press hold Control Alt Shift, then press E. This will merge everything into a new layer. I'm gonna group everything I did. Control G. And here we have the first edit. Let's call it the gloomy sky. Okay, now it's time to go for the next sky. Let's close this one for now, the gloomy sky. Let's put this one on top. The next one is gonna be a little bit tougher, but we're gonna manage. I'm gonna pull this image. This one is a sunset image, as you can see here. Let's make it bigger. I want the sun to be somewhere here. Okay, so our light source is here. Okay, we're gonna do the same. I don't like this area at all, so I'm gonna make sure you rasterize the layer first so you can edit it. I'm gonna take the clone stamp with a normal soft brush. Make sure your only current layer, 100% opacity. How the clone stamp works is that you hold Alt and click, you're sampling from an area and you're putting it in the next area. So I'm sampling from this sky and I'm putting it on that sky. I'm sampling from this sky and I'm putting it on top of this one. So now we got rid of that tower. Okay. Blending two photos together, like I always say, two steps. The first one is values, the second one is color. Okay, let's start with the values first. If you have problems understanding values, you can stand on top of everything and add a black and white layer. So now you can see the values. You see here, this is very bright and this is very dark. It's not natural. So we have some problems with values we're gonna work on. Okay, this one, let's stand on it. Let's add a curves adjustment layer. Usually in sunset, the sky is behind the object, so the object doesn't have light in front of it. So I'm gonna link this one on top of that, and I'm just gonna make it much darker, something like that, because it's a sunset photo. It should be a little like more of a silhouette color. Okay, now the colors here are completely off. I'm gonna add a hue saturation layer and just desaturate it for now. Then I'm gonna add a color balance layer. And on the shadows, I'm gonna add some red, some yellow. And in the midtones also some red, yellow. I guess we went too strong with the desaturating. Yes, something like that is better. And I'm gonna add a curves adjustment layer. Make sure it's on top. I'm gonna go to the red channel. I'm just gonna pull it up so it adds red on the whole thing. Go to the blue channel, pull it down. This is too yellow. Something like that. Just a little bit. Okay, so now you see like the color. These three are the difference we made. You see, these four actually. It was like that, then it went like this. Okay, this is adjusting the color and the value. But now this case is a little bit different because we have this light here. So I'm gonna add a layer on top of everything. Then I'm gonna take a brush. I'm gonna do this manually. I'm gonna hold Alt and sample this color here. Make sure I'm with a normal soft brush. And I'm gonna move it a little bit to the red and orange, something like that. And I'm gonna paint on top of this thing. And I'm gonna sample a little bit of this color and paint with it. Sample from here and paint with it. Sample from there and paint with it. I'm just sampling colors and painting with them on top of the mountain. If this color doesn't look completely right, you can always go to image, adjustments, hue saturation, and you can play around with its color. You can like desaturate it or increase its saturation. In this case, I'm gonna increase saturation, darken it a little bit, something like that. Okay, -3 is gonna be good, I guess. Okay, so now let's see this one. It made like, there was a very strong difference between the back and the front. So it blended a little bit the difference. But we can also reduce the opacity. It's too strong, I guess. So, good. Okay. The thing I always do, after you put two images together, you try first to make their colors and their values the same, and then you add another layer on top of both of them, pushing them both in the same direction so they blend even better. Okay, so I'll pull the blacks up. This is a curves adjustment. I'm gonna take the shadows, pull them down, then I'm gonna take the bright, make them even brighter, something like that. So now you see this one, it made the photo blend much better together. Then I'm gonna jump to gradient map. Gradient map is a very good way to color grade your photos. I'm gonna take the shadow color, double clicking it. I'm gonna add some maybe cyan, dark cyan in the shadows, something like that. And in the highlights, I'm gonna move this one a little bit to the left. I'm gonna add a bright orange, something like that. And then I'm gonna hold Alt to add another point. And this one, I'm just gonna move it like that. It's a yellow, a very bright yellow color. Like that. This one, I'm gonna go to it. I'm gonna add a little bit more color to it. Okay, okay. This one, of course, it doesn't look good, but when you lower the opacity, something like that, you see the difference. And you can also change it to overlay. Increase the opacity a little bit. So you see this one, it added a layer of color on top of the whole image. We can also go to the photo filter, add a warming filter or a violet. I guess violet is gonna be good in this case because we have a sunset. Sunset often have a little bit of a violet color. And hold Control Alt Shift E. And let's group everything together like that. And let me show you the before and after. So this is our first photo. This is when we added the gloomy sky to it. And this is when we added the sunset sky to it. And I guess that's it for today's tutorial. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, make sure you put them in the comment section below. Make sure you like and subscribe to my channel for more amazing content. Thank you.